Maid-sama is one of the greatest romance animes of all time.
And I truly believe this. I don't care what anyone else says. This was one of my first animes that I ever watched. I've rewatched it more times than I can count. It's what got me into anime and also romance and slice of life stories just in general. Plus, I've read and owned some of the manga. So I feel like I can talk about this in every way, shape, or form. Even with how extraordinarily campy this story can be, or with some of the questionable writing choices, aka
Episode 2.
I feel like this anime can be extraordinarily well written and very well done. Hell, even in production aspects, it's still really well done. But I have to get into the nitty gritty about why I feel this way. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy that nice, hot, warm beverage of yours. And let me explain to you why Maid-sama is one of the greatest romance animes of all time. Let's get into it.
Just as an FYI, this video isn't only going to contain spoilers for the anime, but also the manga, so if you plan on reading the manga and or watching the anime, please click off now.
This story's music is so amazing. Each track sets the tone of what's happening within the story so well, and some of the themes for the characters are also just really well done. Like Usui's theme is kinda crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Every time it comes on, you just hear the guitar riff, and it's just so great. But aside from Usui's theme, a lot of the tracks have different kinds of varieties of tones that they're trying to go for, or different kinds of aesthetics that they're trying to go for just to fit what's happening within the scene. Such as when we're at like Miyabiga Oka or any kind of like fancy place, or even at Misaki's job, Maid Latte, this story starts to play a whole lot of more tracks that are more classy, like, you know, the kind of class where, you know, they have the cups on plates and they drink tea or coffee out of a nice tea cup. Ho ho ho, I'm so classy and rich. Ho 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 ho, I'm so classy. Ho ho. Those are the kinds of tracks that they start playing during that time, because, you know, the main thing about this anime is maids, and not only maids, but the difference between poor and rich. But when the story needs to be a little bit silly, it has a bunch of silly tracks, and those tracks are really well done too. Or when the story needs to be more heartfelt, the more heartfelt tracks are some of the best tracks I've ever heard within an anime. And it's mostly done when Usui and Misaki are together, and God, you just can't help but love the relationship every time you hear the piano start playing. The OST in this anime is just really well done and sets the tone for each scene just really well. I also love the intro. I never skip it, and I'm even more weird about it that I don't ever watch this intro like ever on YouTube or at all, anything like that. I don't ever go out of my way to rewatch it. It's exclusively for when I'm rewatching this anime. And also the two outros that they have for the band called, I didn't look up the name for the band, but the band that they did get for it honestly had some really banger songs for this anime. The only thing that really sucks is that for the second intro, this was before I read the manga, I didn't know that it adapted Misaki's birthday from the manga, which was supposed to happen in season 2 if we got one. So it sucks even harder that we got that adapted in the outro, but not in an anime season 2. It sucks, dude. I just despise that intro a little bit more now. Not only is the OST great, but the art style that the story tries to go for is also really good. The studio that animated this is JC Staff, who did Food Wars, Golden Time, and what the fuck, Toradora? One Punch Man season 2, The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. Yeah, they have some pretty good animes under their belt. They have an impressive track record of animes that they've done, but these few anime that they did, that's a pretty good track record. And Maid-sama is no exception. I like the backgrounds that they try to go for with this anime. It's done in more of a colored pencil style, and not like a painted on or just like a regular drawn background. It's done with more colored pencil kind of vibes, and it really does work with the lighting and setting the tone for the anime in a whole lot of moments. Even with the still backgrounds where it's like focused on one character and not showing what the environments look like. Sometimes they'll go for like a more of a crayon kind of aesthetic that like a kid tried drawing. And you'd think that the backgrounds being more colored pencil like or just having like really cutesy kind of kid drawn backgrounds, you'd expect the animation would like be very jarring and the backgrounds would just be completely different from it. No, the animation actually does blend really well together with the backgrounds. It has that nice early 2000s art style that I really like. In most animes, like my favorite era of anime is just early 2000s anime because it's in the era where they're getting more into digital animation. They're still figuring that out, while also being in the old era where they're still doing like hand-drawn stuff. The art style for it is just really well done, and the way they adapt some of the more stuff in the manga is by having the effects that are around the characters just be adapted really well with flowers and all that stuff, because the manga has a lot of moments where characters just have flowers drawn around them. That happens a lot within the anime. But yeah, the music and the art style really do blend well together. Even the animation blends well with it together. It's just a really well done in terms of production entirely. I love the characters in this. I think all the characters are really fun. My favorite side character out of every single one of them is definitely Misaki's manager. Like, she is just such a bundle of joy. Every time I see her, I can't help but just smile, and her voice actor just makes it that much better at just making me feel all giddy when I see her. Because seeing her just be so happy about seeing Misaki with Usui is just so adorable, and she's just such a bundle of joy. I love her to death. Hell, even the three idiots are really funny. Originally, when I was watching this anime, I didn't think much about them, but as time went on, I really started to fall in love with these three little guys. They're weirdos, they're weird, yeah, but, they're funny weird. They're always, knocking at each other and just, goofing off and just messing around. They're just great. I even love Misaki's sister, Suzuna. She was hilarious, and just her, her complete difference from Misaki. It's just kind of funny how she's like always calm and collected and just kind of weird, while Misaki is also weird but just more like expressive. I also like Shintani, even if his voice actor isn't all that great. I also really like this little ghost Misa that they have just flying around sometimes, and in the beginning she didn't really say anything. It was just kind of like a small little version of Misa, but then she started like speaking, and God, it's just the cutest thing ever. If Misaki's manager didn't exist, I would just be like, oh yeah, I'm a big Ghost Misa fan. But now we're gonna get into the itty gritty that is Misaki and Usui. First, let's talk about their voice actors. Monica Rial as Misaki is amazing, because she's just able to just pull out every kind of emotion she can with Misaki, with how much variety she has in her expressions, and she does a really great job. She's the best voice actor there, in my opinion. And then there's David Montriga as fucking Usui, and like almost everyone else's acting in this, his acting's kind of flat, but the funny thing about it is that like it works, because like he's just being Usui. Usui is already a very calm and a character that just isn't all that expressive like that, so it's like even if you hear just like flat line delivery, that is just kind of Usui. But now let's get into the actual stuff that needs to be talked about. Yes, I know how campy their relationship is. A girl who's poor, but then she decides to become class president, and she rules the school, protects all the girls from the guys, and is mean to all the guys until this one guy will do anything for her, knows what she's thinking. And yeah, I know how campy it is, but it's like, aside from the camp factor of it, they're characters in the end, and these characters work so well. The thing I like about it is that Usui helps Misaki develop. There are a lot of arcs within the story where it's just Usui trying to help Misaki, gain more of an open-minded perspective about everything. And, as the story goes on, she starts to be more open-minded about how everything works. Even in episode 2, even if the lesson was Misaki needs to learn to be more open-minded, and even if they didn't go about that that message all that properly. She still learned. And another thing I like about the relationship is that Usui will do anything for Misaki. You know, even jump off a building for this chick. But as Usui does more for Misaki, it's more so about Misaki learning to appreciate Usui for what he does for her. And that's when she starts falling in love with him. Because Usui already loves Misaki completely. Will do anything for her. Will jump off a building for her. So Misaki is just learning to appreciate Usui for what he does for her. Whether it be with the weirdos, or Yume Mishi, or the Kano stuff, or just everything that happens within season 1 of this anime, she learns to appreciate him for everything. And, you know, she thanks him for everything. She starts to appreciate him for that. And as she starts to appreciate him for that, she starts to be more curious about him and wants to know more about him. Not only more curious, but she wants to take care of him more and help him out more, rather than just seeing him as a rival. And as she starts to appreciate him and wants to learn more about him, she starts to accept more of his affection and the way he shows his love. Because instead of like pushing him away or just not wanting anything to do with him, she starts to accept his head pats or like his hugs and stuff like that. And then for season 1 at least, all of the stuff that happens within it culminates into the big confession scene, which is just amazingly well done, because it's just them just together and expressing themselves and how they feel about each other, and how Misaki wants to know more about him but is still confused. Then Usui finally tells her how much he cares about her, and then they finally share the one kiss together. And in the end, hold hands. Oh my god, it deserves a season 2, damn it! Everything I've listed about this anime is what gives it such a cozy feeling for me. Or the way Sakura would describe it.
Make sure you listen to the whole CD before the party, okay? Their songs just give you that warm, happy feeling.
It gives me such a warm, happy feeling, dude. I love it to death. I really wish more people would talk about this anime, whether it be positive or negative, because I really do wish more people would talk about it. If one particular anime didn't exist, I would definitely call this my favorite anime of all time, but that anime is so unbelievably good and a masterpiece that I can't help but call it my favorite anime. I also wish I had more merch of this fucking anime. Too bad I don't, but I did see this Usui Ninoroid that's on Amazon right now, and I'm gonna try to get that when I can. But according to my anime list, this is pretty popular. It's at 108th place in terms of popularity, and that's honestly kind of impressive. 108th place. It's in the top 100 of anime. Like, holy shit. But I really wish more people would start talking about it, and I'm glad I made this video because I really wanted to talk about this anime really badly. I love it to death, and I am perfectly comfortable with calling it one of the greatest romance animes of all time. And I truly believe that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. It would really help me out, and I'll see y'all later. See ya!